Welcome back to Great Day. All right, do this little exercise with me. Slightly pinch your nose. Now try to breathe through it. That limited amount of air is bothersome. Now imagine trying to fill your lungs with enough air to do simple things like walk, and you just can't do it. Millions of people have trouble doing what is essential to life and good health, breathing. Our next guest is a breath of fresh air when it comes to helping people breathe correctly and restore capacity. Jared Jaycox is the CEO for the Breathing Center of Houston. Bryce Jeffrey is the physical therapist director for the Clear Lake location. And Cindy Beach is a patient. When she started, she couldn't get enough air into her lungs to even walk a few feet. But today, what can you do?
Treadmill, 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. You're doing better than I am, right? All right. Jared, this whole idea of the Breathing Center was a calling. You know, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Tell us what happened in your family that had you all thinking we need to make sure people have more access to something like this.
Definitely. So my wife's grandmother was in the ICU for a month, and her best chance of survival was a program like this, Pulmonary Rehab. It wasn't close by, and so it wasn't something she was able to access. We saw the difference that it made for her going kind of this end of life stage situation to really regaining her health. Her quality of life came back, and she lived 8 years after that. And so that inspired us to look into this program and to open programs similar to that in the Breathing Center in Houston.
What kind of breathing issues are we talking about? I know we hear a lot about COPD in like commercials and things, but what other things?
Definitely. You can have shortness of breath. I mean, obviously the chronic illnesses. We've also recently just put together a program for obviously the COVID-19 stuff going on, and patients that have had issues with that afterwards, because shortness of breath is a scary thing for a lot of people. So that's really what our program looks at doing is helping people regain their health and that quality of life back.
Yeah, you say scary thing for a lot of people because naturally in us, I think all of us we were talking about this morning, have jumped off that deep into the pool, and there's that slight few seconds that you're thinking, am I ever going to make it to the top because I got to take a breath, right? It's not a good feeling. Definitely. All right, Bryce, you're a physical therapist director. You have a doctorate in physical therapy.
Correct.
And so it's interesting because breathing is such a natural thing, but sometimes people need to be taught how to breathe correctly.
Yeah, no, and I think for a lot of us, it's we don't think about breathing. We just our bodies naturally gets back to its baseline eventually. But when we breathe and we get our breath, it's oftentimes we're like panting like a dog. We're in and out of the mouth, and it just takes longer to catch our breath. So one of the things that we do is we teach patients how to breathe a little more correctly, so then that way they can get back to their baseline a lot quicker, so they don't feel like a fish out of water.
And a lot of us don't realize we're not breathing correctly because we're compensating.
Yeah.
Like we'll either be a mouth breather, right? Or the correct way to breathe is through our nose?
Yes, correct. So one of the things that we teach our patients very early on is a technique called pursed-lip breathing, where it's breathing into the nose and then slowly out to the mouth. So that way it allows to push the air out to allow for more air to come back in. And you're able to get back to your baseline a lot quicker than having to wait for your body just to
Can
get
you do
there.
it for us?
So one of the things that we teach them is smelling the roses and then blowing out the candle. So into the nose and then slowly out to the mouth. Now the exhale should be a little bit longer than the inhale, so that way it can slow down that.
So if anyone at home had a little trouble with that,
yes,
they should probably consider checking things out, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things that we will teach them and we'll remind them quite often is that technique, because once it becomes second nature, then it's not as scary when you get out of breath and doing different activities. Because one of the things that our patients all the time is, I don't do physical activity because I get out of breath and I feel like I can't catch my breath. So then once they're able to control it and they feel confident in it, then there's no limitations.
When they say they don't do physical activity, the crazy thing is sometimes we're talking about something as simple as walking. Yeah. All right, Cindy, you were having some issues. What were your previous symptoms that brought you into the center?
Oh my goodness, I can't even think back. I've been coming to them since 16, I believe. Wow. So they are like my second home. But I had some lung issues, and my lung issues are due from lung cancer. Okay. And so infection set in, and for some reason I just lost my breath. I couldn't breathe. Yeah. And they started helping me. I couldn't even walk when I went in there. Yeah. And here I am.
Yeah, and here you are. And today, like we said, you get on that treadmill and you just wear it out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. And Jared, there are all kinds of reasons that can lead somebody to your needs. And she just mentioned, oftentimes you think, okay, survived cancer, life is good. There's lots of after effects of a number of things. You mentioned COVID, which is a new one. But the Breathing Center of Houston, one of the things that sets you apart, she just said you're like their second home and really like family.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, really what we focus on is the personalized care. You know, healthcare today has changed so much. It's we really focus on personal relationships with our patients. We really focus on hiring quality individuals like Bryce that are very energetic and positive, that can connect with patients, and that allows them to make these lifestyle changes, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on with the patient that the quality of life that needs to change, and we're able to do that through those personal connections and the people that we bring on.
Yeah. How much do you think that has contributed to you getting better?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I don't know where it would be if I hadn't found them. So I'm so grateful for what they came out to do to help people. And I tell everybody, you've got to go.
Yeah.
This is the place to go.
Yeah. All right. We had talked about that whole segment on gratitude a little earlier. And you have gratitude for a number of things, surviving cancer and then being able to catch your breath. You've written a book on it.
Yes, I have. I actually wrote a book, God's Calling, and it's Packed with God, because through everything I have been through for my 40 years, I just kept saying, why are you saving me? Why am I here? And I realized I'm supposed to tell everybody what he's done for me. Yeah. He's still in the miracle business. You know, I'm a miracle of many, many times. Yeah. But I'm so grateful for everything and all the people that helped me get there.
Packed with God. How can people get this book if they're going?
You can buy this book by reaching out to me, and I have a little book card with my information on it. And I also have it can be on Amazon. There's a QR code. You can go on and get it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Just
we'll
put
put the
Packed with
information
God
on our website as well.
Yeah.
But you're right. I had
Yeah.
a life-threatening event, and I said to God, if I live, it means I have more to do.
Yes.
If I die, I hope I know where I'm going. But if I live, I have more to do. You had more to do. You all had more to
Yes.
do with this calling as well. The Breathing Center of Houston has a special offer for Great Day viewers. Call and mention Great Day Houston and receive a free consultation. Call 281-973-7194. Again, that number is 281-973-7194, or visit bchouston.com.